Live. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. That was that even 3 seconds? Did you count? Joe said he promised he wouldn't use that voice for at least 3 seconds. the first 3 seconds of the show.
I said 5 seconds.
Did you say 5 seconds? Well, it wasn't 5 seconds.
It was totally not 5 seconds.
You're just a straight up liar.
I totally went back on my promise. I'm
Princess
sorry.
is shaming you.
Sorry.
Princess, I'm
Forgive
gonna
me.
turn the camera to you while you do that. She's shaming you. She's petting the worm right at you, man.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Oh well.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday, the show where we talk about all sorts of different things, whatever's on your mind. You know, in life, there are struggles. In life, there are joys, triumphs, but there's also failures and disappointments and all sorts of different crazy chaos. And we're here to make yours a little less worrisome, a little less horrific, and if we can, a little better. You know, we aren't professional psychologists or psychiatrists or anything along those lines, but we can do our best to give you our best and kind of step beside you as a friend for a short while we talk about whatever the issues are going on in your life. A lot of times, you guys kind of know what to do, but having a little perspective helps a lot. And it also helps to have some encouragement along the way, because a lot of times, the main thing we need to solve our problems is a little bit of courage to try things. Yeah, we can aim to at least give you some encouragement to go work on it. But yeah, or worst case scenario, tell you, don't worry about it. You're fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Seems like you're already on the right track, you know? But yeah. And, you know, you never know when your topic is going to be someone else's topic. I mean, that happens a lot. There's all sorts of different shows out there where people call in and ask questions about many different things, you know, science, faith, struggles as well. And every once in a while, you'll get someone to talking about a topic. You're like, wow, that really relates to me. So please, if you have a topic, post it at don'tworrywednesday.com. That's right. If you have a topic, you just go to don'tworrywednesday.com, just the same thing as the name of the show. Go there, and you will find a submit a topic button. You can click with ease, fill it out, and yeah, it'll be great. We'll get to it when we can. Yeah, I think I covered all the bases. So,
I think so.
All right. Well,
I think you did good.
Why don't we get this show started? Are we using our inside voices today? Can we talk a little slower and down here? Or should we not? Because Princess is cringing.
That's not a cringe look. That's a look of she loves it so much that she can hardly contain herself. See?
All right. ASMR. That's right. It's a nice ASMR. You know, we could do it ASMR Wednesday.
Should I do ASMR? Should I do ASMR videos? I wouldn't do it on this show, but maybe I should do it on other videos.
Yeah, you should. I would love that.
Except that doesn't come through.
Except that one doesn't come through yet, because right now that mic is not what we're hearing.
Right.
Which is funny.
Exactly. Yeah, let's do a show, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. How you guys doing today?
That'd be a good idea. I mean, I had my awesome syrupy voice, and now I've got this crackly little. Hey guys.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How's it going?
Oh man, what a show!
Yeah, don't throw your DT990s across the room. Those are good headphones. I have some. These are DT770s.
Yeah, don't make me. Yeah,
these are DT990s. Yeah, man, they're good stuff.
Well,
what mic do I have? I have a Shure SM7B. I love it.
And I have
I love it.
990, and it awesome. I think it's 990. Sounds like the right number.
I don't know. We're talking about DT 990s, but those are headphones.
Yeah, but Mic Tech, I think, is also 990. I could be wrong.
Mm.
It could be very wrong. It doesn't say it on the microphone. Does it?
Mm-hmm.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yes, I also have a Rode microphone. Rode makes a great microphone. I love them. Mic Tech, I've been really impressed with the sound of Ryan's mic, and it's amazing.
Mic
But,
Tech, yeah.
it's also one of the pricier ones of their line.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It
It's quite
was
pricey.
worth it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yeah. Should be I mean, there's a lot of really good mics out there, but yeah, Mic Tech is, I've always been very pleased and happy with them. This mic is made for, well, every mic is not the same, and some are made for different instruments, some are made for voices. So you have to really do your research, and we've been so blessed to have my brother on board with us, because Kyle does an enormous amount of research before we buy products, and he really digs down into the science of why things work the way they work, so he can figure out what actually is the best versus just, what's trying to advertise what to you. It's incredible. Very nice. New from my settings for ASMR, the speed metal opera starting Sunday. Sunday. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Hatsu, which topic of yours?
There are multiples.
Then I will pick for you, because there's one that leads well into another that we'll do today. So.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you. But yeah, one other thing I wanted to say, I forgot to say, is chat, if you would please do us the honors of commenting on whatever topics we have, because it really does help, and you guys have great things to say. We're just two gentlemen, but you guys are also gentlemen and gentle ladies, and or other. So yeah, feel free to
gentle person.
Thank you. That's, they don't think that they're a person. Gentle beings.
Gentle beings.
There you go. Unless they're not gentle. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Beings.
Oh my goodness.
Unless they don't think they exist because they're Buddhist.
Gentle spiders.
Gentle non-existence or existence. Gentle spiders. Yes. Beans. Spiders are just beans. Yep. Anyways, yeah, we love it when you guys write and comment on our topics, or even just say humor in the chat, because that's useful. But anyhow, cool. I hope you guys are doing awesome today. We're gonna get started with our first topic if we are ready. Princess, have you picked one for us? Yes, you have.
Oh boy.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. I see it now.
His slightly silly is going to be what I'll preface this with for you in the chat.
Okay. So
slightly silly,
slightly very intense. This one is from Rin or Hatsu, and the title is Let's Help Joe. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it up on the screen for you now, and Princess will do the honors of reading it.
How do I? Oh, is it up yet? Actually.
Yep, it's up.
Yes.
Cool. No, I just got rid of the tab. Oh well. How do we help Joe beat his arson addiction?
My arson addiction?
Wow. Arson addiction.
I will have to go back to make sure that I've actually read that correctly, because I accidentally closed the tab when I was double checking that you had put it up on the screen. Yes. How do I help Joe beat his arson addiction?
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh boy. Ryan.
Joe? Okay, well, you didn't know today was an intervention, but
oh geez.
Welcome to your intervention. I hope that today is helpful for you. I hope that it finds you well, and that you can get over your addiction for setting everything, including my heart.
Oh goodness, Ryan.
The passion you fill me with
It's getting deep in here, buddy. Like I'm wading through it now. Okay. Like.
Yeah. No. Actually, Joe, I didn't know you had an addiction to fire. And setting things. Up with it. Setting. Is there a structure what I could use? Anyways, setting things on fire.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently you do, Joe. Since you're the person in question here, and because it's my duty, I'm gonna give it over to you to try to figure this one out.
To try to help
to help your own addiction.
Okay, let's have a talk with self here.
Yeah.
Self.
Yeah. Where does this come from? You know.
Well, you know, for as long as I can remember, I've enjoyed setting things ablaze. I've never destructively set anything. Well, I guess there are times when I want to destroy things. Like I did have a really cool time. It was awesome this past November, and I found like a whole bunch of old like records from more than 7 years ago, like bank records and all that kind of stuff.
I just wanted to, yeah. Thanks for clarifying, because records could have been like audio records.
Oh, right. No, like bank records and documents and all this kind of stuff that you have to keep for 7 years, according to the IRS, 7 years after you file the taxes for that year, you have to keep those documents for 7 years. And I came across a whole bunch that were way older than that. I had a whole huge box full of documents, and I just spent a day chucking documents into a fire and watching them burn. Remember this day? Holy cow, remember that? Whoa, geez. Remember that lawsuit? Oh, geez. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, woo, burning all kinds of stuff. And yeah, and I think this message comes from Rin because of my PFP on Discord is a burning thing of fire, which I had a fire and it was burning, and I took a whole bunch of pictures while I was burning stuff. And this picture came up and the flame just like did that little thing. And I was like, that looks awesome. So that's going to be my PFP. So, but yes, I routinely do light things on fire.
Fantastic.
It's fun. I don't burn people's houses down. I don't burn buildings down. I don't do any of that stuff.
Someone burnt my house.
I tell you what, it's kind of scary when your car catches on fire.
And
you're driving it. And all of a sudden there's smoke coming up out of your hood and everything. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I've had that before.
That's crazy. But so, yeah, I don't know if I'm addicted to arson or not, but I enjoy the sentiment. Thank you.
That's so great. I don't think Joe's addicted to arson. I don't think he has arsony in him. I think he's too much of a people pleaser to burn people's stuff. You know, he'll burn his own stuff, but he won't burn yours.
Oh, and apparently Rin was also going to say what happened to your hair, because probably I burned it off or something. You know, yeah. I lit it on fire and it burned away.
Wow.
Yes,
man,
but that's okay. No,
that's so metal.
What happened to my hair? This is a choice. And it was a good choice.
Got it. All of it's cool. Yeah, actually, it was a choice. He chose to shave it off.
And why, you might ask? I woke up with bedhead one too many times.
That was it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was it. I was like, bedhead, be gone.
Bedhead, be gone. Sounds like a product. It's just a shaver. That's great.
Yes, but no, I don't know. I don't think I'm addicted to arson, but I really appreciate how much you care for me, and that if I did have an issue with that you would want to help me with that. So I really, really do appreciate that, Ren. That is awesome of you. But yeah, I'm probably not going to start lighting things on fire, or not going to stop lighting things on fire, because fire is cool, man.
It's pretty cool.
And it's getting colder out now, so I'm going to have to like get the wood stove going down here, because winter's coming. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Did you burn the hair afterwards? You know how bad that smells?
Oh, jeez.
Burning hair is not a good smell.
Oh,
Princess
it is not.
shakes her head furiously. No, she agrees.
One summer, my sister decided just to see what it would be like since we had some scraps of hair around.
Gosh, why?
Ugh.
It's awful.
Hey, it's science, man. Experimentation.
Experimentation. What are you doing? Science.
Doing
It just
science.
seems like you're lighting hair on fire. It's science because it's experimentation.
It's right.
Nice.
It's exactly right.
That's great.
Yes, Saule, you are absolutely right. Fire is very useful. Cook on it, heat with it, consolidate stuffs into ash. Ash, not ash.
Mm-mm.
And yet,
Yeah.
famous last words. Fire's cool, man.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Check this out. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Awesome. Well, Hatsu, I don't think I have anything to add onto this conversation. Unfortunately, I've never actually even witnessed Joe burning things other than wood. His wood stove once, maybe. If that.
Yeah.
Oh, and using the stove.
Mm-hmm. The gas stove?
Gas stove. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, but yeah, I appreciate the comment. It's funny. So thank you, Hatsu. You're awesome, and we appreciate you. You're
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Do we have another one that you said there's one that leads into this, huh? Interesting. Well, let's find out what it is.
You had that one would lead into a different topic?
Yeah, right? Interesting.
I was like, that's gonna lead into another topic. Wow, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. So now we have one that is from an anonymous. It's titled Overcoming the Idols in Our Lives. I like the sound of that one. Overcoming the Idols in Our Lives. And it is on screen for you to read, Princess, whenever you are ready.
Idols are stressful. They are all powerful over nothing. They don't want your attention except when they do. But you give it all the time because that's what you think you should do. When they fall, you must justify why they let themselves down. And when they let you down, you must explain to yourself why that's okay. When you fail them, they don't even acknowledge that you were doing anything for them to begin with. Your idols are either never upset with you or always upset with you. They are in your head and in your heart. They tear you apart from the inside out, but not of their own accord. They have a rent-free home with a door always open, but not need for it at all. They are in your head, they are in your head, they are all in my head. Idolizing a person or thing is bad. However, it's often hard to notice that we're idolizing them until we've fallen under its spell. A spell which they usually don't mean to cast. For me, I notice it when I start becoming uncomfortable around the people that I look up to and like, but who have become idols. What are some other signs when we're idolizing someone or something? And what are some of the ways to overcome these idols in our lives? How do I stop idolizing you? How do I stop idolizing a lack of failure? Both religious and secular answers are welcome. Thanks in advance for covering my topic. From Anonymous.
Wow. Yeah. This is a great topic.
It is.
This is like right off the bat, definitely diving deeper into some real talk kind of stuff. And I love that. Yeah, I mean, in our lives, right? Just like Anonymous said, there's so many idols that creep up on us, and a lot of times we don't even recognize that they're there until it's too late. We don't recognize that we're falling into an addiction or falling into really just a backward sense of priorities until we're already there. And then you're like, well, how do I get out of this, for one? And how do you stop that from happening in the first place? And these are great questions. I know that, I mean, I can't imagine someone who doesn't fall into this. One thing right off the bat that I could say might be helpful is humility. Humility is a wonderful virtue, but it's probably the most misunderstood virtue. Because the other ones, they make sense right off the bat, but humility has this sort of, it comes with the word humble and to be humiliated, and these words which are hard for us to hear. And we often think that it means to think less of ourselves and more of other people, but that's not always the case. Humility is really just a correct value of all things. When you put everything in its correct value, and then you live that way, that's being humble. But to know what that looks like in the first place requires sometimes being humiliated, because you don't know everything. And I think you have to recognize you don't know everything before you can start to put down pride and pick up humiliation to say, hey, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to learn from other people. I'm willing to recognize that I could be wrong, and to start learning the values of everything, treating them respectively. That's a good way to start with a problem with idolizing stuff, because if you have humility, really it's a lot easier to put down the things you are idolizing, because you have a little bit more of a better perception right off the bat of what the value of that thing is. And then, of course, there's other virtues like self-control that play a very big role in this. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking so we can get to the star of the show. Who's shaking his head at me? He's like, "No, I'm not ready. Are you not ready? You want me to,
I'm ready.
you
I
want me to
just don't
buffer
want you to
more?"
stop talking because I love hearing your voice.
Oh, thanks, Joe. I love you. And I love hearing your voice too. So that's what we're gonna turn it to. We're gonna give it over to you so we can hear your beautiful. Hold on. I'm working on a scene change. Beautiful voice. All right, go for it.
My beautiful voice.
Yes. Well, I'll be.
All right, guys. Here we go. No, this is a great topic. Thank you, Anonymous, so much for sending this topic. This is definitely a challenge that, like Ryan was talking about, a lot of people struggle with. I think all of us do to some degree, in some way, shape, or form, at lots of points in our life. Seriously, okay. Easy always has a disclaimer. All easy advice is rooted in the old world, and it is because he can't adapt to modernity. All advice is meant in love, and no animus or malice is ever meant. Okay. I'm also going to make a disclaimer. I got to think of what my disclaimer is going to be.
I don't know everything, but I sure know a lot.
Tell you what, I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Oh, wow.
I know about idolatry because I'm good at it.
Oh, man.
In fact, it's always like one of the very first things when I go to the confessional. I'm Catholic, so I go to confession, and in the confessional, that's always like the first thing is idolatry of self, idolatry of money, idolatry of my goals, idolatry of other people, idolatry of, all these different things that I idolize throughout that period of time since I've been in confession before, right? Because really we tend to create idols in our lives out of everything. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah.
Just fall in love with someone. Try not to idolize them.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, good luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I went to a concert last night, right? And here's my disclaimer. That. No. Some of this might come across as hard. I apologize. I'm in a spot in my life.
Get rough with us, Joe. Lay it on us.
What's that?
Get rough with us, Joe. Lay it on us.
Get rough with you? All right. So I go to a concert with a buddy of mine. Those of you who have heard the mayonnaise and ranch dressing story, that was my buddy.
Oh, that buddy? No way.
Yep. It was awesome, man.
He's a legend, that guy.
He is a legend. He's a PhD, published author, professor at Alma College. I mean, the guy's like brilliant man, right? And like we go to this rock and roll concert, man, because I'm like, don't you have to teach? He's like, man, I took a day off. I'm like, really? how many people go, like their professors go, like take a day off to go to Greta Van Fleet concert, right? Like it was like total rock and roll, man. And he's like, this is funny because he's looking around. He's like, hey, man, there's girls around here. And I'm like, yeah, girls can stay away from me.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like, keep that away from me, man. Like, yeah. So anyway, because we can idolize the opposite sex. We can idolize the same sex. Most of the time we idolize ourselves in some way, shape, or form. We're thinking about ourselves a lot, or we think about another thing or person a lot. One of the things that you might start to notice if you're idolizing something, you might start to notice yourself doing things out of the ordinary for that thing or person. You might find yourself obsessing about that thing or person in your mind. You might find yourself, I don't know, rearranging your life in a way for these things. And, you know, those are some of the signs that we've created an idol. But really what an idol is just something that we have an attachment to, an inordinate attachment to in our mind or in our heart or whatever, right? Because from a religious standpoint, you know, there's one God and we are to worship that one God. And an idol is anything that we focus on, that we put above that God. And that's why scripture tells us to pray constantly, to pray continuously. How do we avoid idolatry? To always have our minds turned to prayer. And that, how does a person do that? How does a person pray all the time and then ever get anything done? Well, you don't have to be like deep meditative contemplative prayer all the time. Like it can just be like, hey, just hanging out. I'm doing this thing. And one of the things that I've tricked myself into doing sometimes is like, okay, I'm going to spend this drumming time and I'm going to offer my drumming to God. And that's something that I can do. That's thanking him for the gifts he's given me, the abilities and the time to develop my skills, and just trying to give that back as a gift. And, you know, I mean, if you're not religious, I don't know if idolatry has the same meaning as someone who would be religious. So, because from a religious standpoint, idolatry is anything that we would worship in place of God or give reverence to in place of God. But for someone who doesn't believe in God, I'm not sure what an idol would be. Maybe just something that you are attached to, that you're obsessed about, that you have an unhealthy kind of, you know, maybe an addiction to, even, you know, something like that. Because then what that does is that draws our attention away from where it belongs. And we do this. We do this without even knowing about it. Sometimes our hearts just go crazy in directions that we don't even, we end up in places in our hearts and we're like, how did I get here? Right? And I've been there before, a ton of times. And we got to reel ourselves back in and repent and try and turn and do better. And Ryan really hit the nail on the head when he talked about humility, because humility is really just putting everything in its proper place, ourselves included, right? We're all just kind of in our proper order. And really, God should be the thing that we worship, the person that we worship, the being, however you want to say it. Because, man, every religion has kind of a different idea of what God is. Right? So, anyway, oh, Hatsu, yes, Ryan is cute, isn't he? We should get him on this camera.
Oh, guys.
Man, oh man, oh man. Who's producing this show anyway? Put Ryan on the screen.
All right, I did. Jeff. Jeff, get over here. Hi.
Joe is the opposite of cute, but I appreciate it.
It's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Joe. Aw. So cute. Aw, look at him. Aw. See?
Uh,
See?
see what?
He's adorable. Look at that smile.
Nope.
It's perfect.
Stop.
All right.
Stop. All right. So,
sorry, man.
Okay, so you have another question. How do I stop idolizing a lack of failure? So does that mean you idolize success, Anonymous? I mean, you don't have to answer in the chat if you're here, but I just want you to think about this. How do I stop idolizing a lack of failure? So if that means that, okay, maybe I definitely have been through this type of situation where I've gone through a lot of failure. And so I've looked at a person who's successful in whatever area that is that I'm failing in, and I've idolized that situation. I've idolized them for being successful in that situation. And I've even gone so far as to covet what they have. And then, so we're stacking, violations of the 10 Commandments on each other, right? We're idolizing, we're coveting, we're doing all kinds of stuff. Maybe we're envying, there's all kinds of stuff that we could fall into. And man, before we know it, we just kind of get into a mess. And so one of the things, like I said before, I'm a Catholic. I don't know how many of you are or are not, but I have found great, tremendous grace in going to confession. And sometimes you, if you're not Catholic, maybe you just need to find somebody that you trust that you can admit these things to, because there is something to saying it out loud to another person that you did something wrong, and that like the benefit of in the Catholic confessional is that the priest has the power to absolve those sins. And so like that's one of our added benefits there, is that, when we go and confess the things that we've sinned about, they actually can, absolve us of those. And so then we can be free. And it's about separating who you are from what you have done. So all this idolatry, all these things that you've done that are idolizing other things, it's not a part of you. It's a thing that you've done, but it is not who you are. And when we can recognize that there's a difference and we can separate ourselves from that, we start to realize that, yes, I can be different. I can change. These things are not a part of me. These are just things that I've done and things that I've experienced. And then gradually you can start to move on, because it's a habit. It's a habit in our lives to idolize things. Our culture is set up to do it. Movie stars, rock stars, all kinds of stuff. We idolize people. We idolize their careers. We idolize their successes. It gets pretty crazy sometimes. But in reality, we're all human. One of the best ways I've found to stop idolizing a person is to see them fail.
Oh, right. It does work, doesn't it?
And what happens is you recognize that they're human. They're just like us. People screw up. People do things wrong all the time, because we're all people. And a thing that we look to, no thing that we look to in this world is greater than who created that thing. And that would be God. The origin of all things, that's where we should give our thanks, our worship, pay our homage, all that stuff, right? So anyway, I hope that made sense. I'm going to give it back over to Ryan and see what he has to say, because yeah, I've run out of words. And that's
Awesome.
The only thing I can do now is talk like this.
Oh, I would appreciate Okay, no, you don't want to? Okay.
No, it's all you, man.
Okay, well, I'll take it then. Yeah, as Joe was saying, it is something that I think that we all can struggle with. One thing that I like to do from time to time is maybe get a better definition or give a better idea of what it is so I can better pinpoint it, and get to the root of the problems. And as Joe said, idolizing is when you worship something that shouldn't be worshipped. And what is worship? Worship is a beautiful thing. I think in our common culture and over the last probably 500 so years, the idea of sacrifice has become a taboo. Sacrifice is when, because people think about animal sacrifices and these types of things. But that was worship. What is sacrifice, though? Sacrifice is anything you do that you give from yourself or give from your wealth for the sake or for even just out of respect or love of another thing, right? There's nothing wrong with sacrifice. When we sacrifice to God, right, you might give up the first fruits, right? So you take the fruit and you burn it instead of eat it, right? And you're like, wow, that's a waste. Well, it goes back into the ground. It's not really a waste. But
yeah, burning something is never a waste.
Yeah, it's all right, but it's a fun time. No. Wow, Joe does have arsenic in him now. But it's a sign of love. When you're able to make a sacrifice for something, it's a beautiful thing, right? When you love someone, right? You're willing to do things. You're willing to make sacrifices. You're willing to do things that you don't want to do. You're willing to give up things that you used to like or used to do for the sake of the other person. And you're willing to change and not to change yourself to become a person that they'll like, but to become a better person. And I think that's where this ground, where the line is drawn. Because in one realm, you have accurate love, accurate respect, accurate humility, things along those lines where you go, okay, I'm making a sacrifice for the good of something. I'm making a sacrifice for the good of something. And then you can also say, I'm making a sacrifice because I want something. Right? Those are two very different things. One of the reasons why in the Bible, God is saying, hey, don't sacrifice to these other gods, these other idols, gods that aren't real or whatever. Because what you're doing is you're praying, you're sacrificing because you're asking for something. And God is saying, no, love. Sacrifice because you love. Because love will promote growth. Love will make you a better person. Love will make the people around you better. That kind of sacrifice is useful. But the sacrifice where you are saying, hey, I'm going to sacrifice this because I want. Because I want. Like, we're going to sacrifice all of our first fruits because we hope it rains next year. We have better crops next year. Well, that's not really like a true sacrifice of love. That's a trade. But you're giving a trade. You're kind of like saying, hey, I'm going to do this nice thing for you. I'm going to show like this kind of respect for you. I'm going to show worship. But you better pay me. And that's wrong. That's not helpful. That doesn't make you a better person. That doesn't make anyone better. Doesn't give you a better circumstance. That's, I don't know. It's just wrong. When you make a sacrifice for a person because you love them, you have no desire that they give you something back. You don't. But when you make a sacrifice for a person because you're like, yeah, now they're going to like me more. Yeah, now they're going to think better of me. Now they're going to want to hang out with me or something like that, right? Now you've idolized. Now you've put them in a position where they're indebted to you in your own mind and not theirs. And it's uncomfortable. And in fact, at some point, it spins the society to recognize that that's a thing. And now we're all like, you just gave me a gift. This is awkward. This is weird. How do I what am I supposed to do with this? Because now I feel like I owe you. Because society has trained us to feel like that. Because, well, that's what everyone's doing. And so we have to, I just wanted to separate those out because everything Joe said is true. Everything Joe said is true. It's so easy to fall into idolization of someone or something where you are overvaluing it, or you're obsessing over it in such a way that is diminishing for yourself and that person or object. Because you can't, no matter how highly you think of a boat, it doesn't change the boat. It changes your perception and what you're going to do for that boat. You could be someone who owns a boat and goes out to the ocean on your boat every day, or goes out to the dock every day to clean it, even though it's already clean, because you're obsessed. And what are you actually doing? You might actually be tarnishing the paint of the boat because you're cleaning it obsessively. You're spending unnecessary money for an object. You're spending a lot of time for this boat. And that might be joyful for you, but it's not helpful for you. And so we have to draw the line, and we have to recognize my love for this boat is actually taking away, not adding. I've come to a point where now I'm idolizing rather than loving. There's a sense of love that can be given to objects or things or activities. That's different but similar to the love that we give for people. But it requires a sense of humility to understand where that line is, where you've gone from love to idolization. And I think you can have a love and a revere for nature, right? You can go, I love nature. You can go out and you can smell the trees. You can watch the leaves fall. You can enjoy it. You can take it in. And it's beautiful. But when it starts, and you can give to it and say, hey, I'm going to make a garden. I'm going to make a forest. I'm going to pet the trees and sing to them. These are okay things. But if you've gotten to a point where now your love for the nature has become something that destroys you, something that starts to eat away at you, something that takes away from your love of other things, something that, maybe you start to worship nature, right? Entirely. And that can be, unhelpful for you. So you have to figure out, I think an important thing to do is whenever you're doing something, try to have in the back of your mind, is this being good for me? When you love yourself, it means you desire the best for yourself. You want good things for yourself. When you love nature, it means you want the best for nature. And you're willing to help it grow. But not at the cost of making yourself worse, right? That's humility. Someone might give from their wealth. That's called charity. If you are selfless, that's not a virtue. Selfless is when you don't care about yourself. You're supposed to. You're supposed to love yourself. You want yourself to get better all the time, as much as you can. And if you start to look at yourself with this negative sort of outlook, then everything becomes an idol, because you put everything before you. And that's not good. Obviously, selfishness is not good either. You idolize yourself, put yourself above. You put your value so high that you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your relationships. So there's a balance that's needed. And so if you have in the back of your mind that you want the best for the things that you're interacting with, whether it be human beings or physical items or activities, you want the best for yourself and the thing at all times. And you find that route and you take that route. And I think that really helps to navigate the realm of idolizing, because it really removes or at least gives you the option to recognize when something could become an idol and how not to act on it. So that, for me, is about all I really have on the topic. And I hope that it's helpful. But yeah, Joe, did you have anything you want to add to that?
There's only one short thing, but that was beautiful, man. I don't think I could add anything to the philosophical and, the beauty of what you said, but I did want to just mention, I know there are people out there who think that an idol is a statue that you worship.
Hmm.
And that's what an idol is. I know people will read the Bible and they'll be like, do not make graven images, blah, 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 blah. And what they interpret it as is anytime somebody makes a statue, then that's an idol. And it's like, no, art is not an idol necessarily. It can be used as an idol for sure. But just because you see a bunch of statues in a church doesn't mean that they're all a bunch of idols in the church, right? It's just simply religious reminders to remind us of, what these people did in their lives and who these people were a lot of times we have statues of saints and, angels and different things, right? It's like it helps to remind us of their virtues and that we should try and emulate that virtue in our own lives, right? And really it's all about worshiping the God that created all of those things. But I do know of there are certain people who believe that anytime you put up a statue, it's some kind of an idol. And I just wanted to let you know that's not true. If that was the case, then you better not be carrying around pictures of anybody you love in your wallet, because that'd be an idol, or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, that's all.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not here to promote the Catholic faith, but one thing I love about the Catholic faith is the art. We don't shy away. We try to give, glory and beauty to the world, and art isn't idolized, but it's loved, and we love our art. So it's just beautiful. And God created beauty, and He is beauty. Respect that and to enjoy what is given. But anyhow, that's the Catholic faith. You said you didn't mind if we got religious on you. And so, of course, we're going to go there. We're talking about idolization, and that's obviously usually a topic of Christianity. So, yeah. Anyhow, thank you so much, Anonymous. We hope that this has been helpful to you. We hope that it gave you at least some encouragement. If you, already knew all this, at least maybe a repetitive voice in your head saying the things you already know sometimes helps you stay on track in the future. And so, if nothing else, we hope to be that for you. But yeah, thank you so much for this topic. It's a lovely topic, and I hope to hear some more deep, inspired topics from you, Anonymous, in the future. Thank you. Awesome. So, yeah. I see there's a lot of really good comments in the chat, by the way. I suppose we could have read some of those. Obviously, Anne and Easy are both talking on it. It's great. And so I apologize, but hope you don't mind. Obviously, Anonymous, you can feel free to read the chat at your own leisure, because on YouTube it's saved, which is so cool. I like that about YouTube. I don't think Twitch didn't used to do that. Does it do that now? Yeah, it does. Okay. So, anyways, that's such a neat feature. On to the next one. Cruising through today. Already on to the third topic, and it's not even an hour. Dang.
I know, that's craziness.
Yeah, what's happening? It's great. This one is from I love it. This next topic is from not an anonymous, but from an imperfect anonymous. I like the the name. That's great. But yeah, this one and an imperfect anonymous is giving us a topic. It's titled for us "Boyfriend Anniversary Song." Wow. I'm interested to see what this is about. So it is on the screen for you, Princess. Feel free to read it whenever you're ready.
My anniversary with my boyfriend is coming up soon, so I decided to try to write him a song. This is what I have so far. I need you here on this lonely night of dark and despair. You are my light in this messed up world of death and destruction. You make things bright when you compliment the things I hate. You love me so, even when I'm at my lowest moments. You are imperfect, but that's what makes you perfect, even if I'm not the same. You think I'm so gorgeous, that I'm so perfect. God, I wish I felt that way. You are so imperfect. You are imperfect, but that's what makes you perfect, even though I'm not the same. God, you are so perfect. I wish I was perfect, but it'll never be that way. What do you guys think of it so far? What do you like and don't like about what I wrote? This song is going to be about how much I love him and want to be perfect for him. I hope you enjoy. Maybe one day I'll actually publish it or write music for it. I'm not sure yet, but or if it's even good. Love you guys. From an imperfect anonymous.
Hey, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you for throwing this at us. Musicians ourselves, we have time. I'm not a great lyricist. Now, I know everyone's gonna argue against me in the chat and say you're great at lyrics. Okay, what I mean is, I'm not a lyricist by default. Lyrics take me a good hundreds of hours to write. It really does. And I'm slow at them, but I'm very meticulous and I'm very articulate and very yeah, that's why it takes me so long. So from my perspective, usually I write all the melody first and then I go on and write the lyrics to kind of convey how I write and convey the message. But thank you, Hans. You're awesome. But I think that lyrics are interesting because lyrics we can say so much, and not everyone's gonna relate, but someone is. And sometimes that relatability of your message does a ton. And sometimes you really have to watch what you say because you might be programming people to think a certain way that is good. I know there's a lot of music out there, especially in our modern world since the 80s, that programs us to have a sex drive or programs us to idolize. From the last topic, idolize certain things, put things above what the value they should be put at, to the point of hurting ourselves. But what I like is that your message isn't one of that kind of nature of love. You're just really doting on the person, and you're speaking about how you want to be a perfect person for them. And I think that that's a beautiful thing to say, and I think that that's a great message to put across, that you want to be perfect. And I also recognize what you mean by the other person being imperfect, and how that's kind of perfect. But yeah, this is a bit of a romantic one. I don't know how much Joe's gonna want to touch on it. I have a romance song coming up in the near future, and Joe's excited about it, even though he's like, man, gross. But I'm still excited. So to give you a hint of where Joe, I don't know where Joe's gonna take it, but I'm excited. And I'd love to hear his response to this. So, Joe, on to you.
Romance is just fine.
Okay, yeah, this is great.
Just fine.
I love you, Joe.
Because you know what romance leads to?
Baby. Oh wait, was that the
legal documents?
Oh, legal documents. I knew it couldn't be babies.
It does.
It leads to many
in
things.
a lot of cases. Yes, it leads to many things. Yes. But anyway, no. Anonymous. These are wonderful lyrics. They're beautiful. They're beautifully written, and I've learned that you can pretty much do. You can do a lot of things with a lot of words in lyrics. Depending on how you present them in the song. One of my most recent songs that's not released yet, but I wrote lyrics to it. I sang them, and I sent them to Steve, the other guy in a single duel, and I played the recording. And I had sent him the words written out, and then I had sent him the words as they were sung. And he was like, "Yeah, as I read them, I didn't really get how they were gonna, because there wasn't as many rhymes, like what I was expecting. It didn't seem like it was gonna flow as much. And then when I heard your delivery." It all made sense, and it all came, it all got glued together, in the way that, you were presenting. So there's a lot of different things you can do with lyrics, and really, they're wonderful. I think whoever you're writing this for your boyfriend, Anonymous. I would be absolutely just overcome if somebody wrote me a song that was describing what they thought of me or how they felt about me, and this kind of stuff was coming out. I don't know, it would probably melt my heart. And then I'd remember legal documents. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But anyway, I think they're wonderful. And let's see. So what do we think of it so far? I think it's great. What do I like and don't like about what I wrote? I don't think there's much that I don't like about what you wrote. I think I'd like to hear it delivered in musical form, and because really one of the things that's a really difficult thing for me is hearing lyrics in songs.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't hear, like I went to the show last night, couldn't hear the lyrics hardly at all. I couldn't hear what he was saying. I heard him singing, and it's like rock and roll. So it's like rah, screaming, yelling, and all this wailing and stuff, right? And they're talking about this song's about this such a deep topic and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I didn't understand any of the words you just said in that song. So I don't know how to put that together. But I appreciate you explaining what it was about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But lyrics, they can have an impact on us. And you never know whose heart they're going to touch, especially if you put them out there, if you release them. Make the song, publish it, release it. And you never know whose heart might get touched by it. It's a really, really cool thing. Ryan's lyrics have definitely touched a lot of people's hearts, including my own, in a lot of different ways. And he has such a way with words that it's a positive message, but it's not cheesy, which a lot of times you hear songs with a positive message and it's kind of corny. But Ryan's are not at all. And if you dig into them, you find truth upon truth upon truth, like stacked up behind these lyrics. It's really, really cool. Or maybe I'm just reading too deep into them. I don't know. But to me, they are deep and they're beautiful and also well delivered. And my my job is more of an instrumentalist. Generally, I've learned a lot of different instruments and I've learned how to produce. And so I listen to sounds and not words. And so people will send me a song, listen to this song. And what they want me to listen to is the words. And what I'll be like is, oh man, did you hear how that snare drum was compressed? That was awesome.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh my God.
Man, I love how that bass player did that, man. That was so cool, right? So I'm like listening to all of the other areas of the song as, thinking of the full production of the thing. And I very rarely actually listen to what the words say unless I read them. And then I'm like, oh, wow, then I can actually like get into it and then feel it. But at first delivery, I know most people listen to the words first and foremost. Not me. I'm usually listening to the rhythm section, whether it's the drums or the drums and the rhythm guitar and the bass together. You know, kind of that's like the core unit of where I set in a band. You know, all the bands I've played in, it's been part of the rhythm section. And so that's just where my ears gravitate to. So a lot of times people could say whatever they want in a song and it wouldn't affect me too much. But I will say, having read these lyrics, they're beautiful. I would be honored to hear these lyrics if I was your boyfriend. I think it's wonderful. So Anonymous, you got a thumbs up from me. And I'm going to turn it over to Static P.
Dang. Dropping rhymes.
A drop in the rhymes, man.
Dropping the rhymes. All right. Yeah, thanks, Joe. And thank you so much for saying such nice things about my lyrics. You know, I'll tell you this,
They are.
Anonymous.
They are exactly what I said and more.
Wow, thank you. Well, I think that, you know, here's my process when I'm making lyrics. I don't know if it's going to be any help. And it takes me a long time to write lyrics because of this process. But I will literally go off and meditate about a topic. And I will search to the depths of my being and pray about it and ask for wisdom from the Holy Spirit and just really ponder, really dig into a topic and find beauty in it, find the wisdom in it, find the nuggets that I really that empower me. Find the nuggets within the topic that empower me, that fill me with a passion, and then deliver those. Find ways to try in my song to speak about those things. And usually, you know, in a song that I wrote, if it's like a Criminal Idol song, it's going to be just mostly in the chorus, and the rest of it's going to be a story to drive you there. But not always, right? I think a good example is like Sky Lanterns, right? It's not a story song. It's just a song about lighten up the dark in this world, and you making that decision to do so. And I think that for me, that process, while it's very long, and then to try to write that out lyrically so that it works with a melody and that it has great spacing, that the emphases are in the right spot with the melody, that I'm not reusing words too much, that I'm reusing the right words over and over. Very drawn out process, very meticulous and calculated, and it's very long for me. I know some people, they can come up with lyrics right on the spot, and it's like, dang, that was solid. How did you do that? How did you come up with that? But that's not me. So however you got to where you are now with this, I think that's great. And if you want any help with maybe a different way of writing, or really making sure you get your points across, is to, from my point of view, or from my experience rather, is to really spend time contemplating the subject, if you can do that. And contemplation for you might look different than me. I pace in a dark room, or I drive and think. But for some people, it comes out of them in different ways. And we talked about this on a recent show, but it might be journaling or writing it down. It might be just singing it, and then, you know, once in a great while, I'll be doing my lyrics, and I'm like, I'm just gonna improvise a little bit here. I'm gonna sing something to try to get something out that works, and then I'll do it, and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, that was great. What did I just say? That happens to me more than I would care to admit. I'm just like,
record it. Record it. The number of times where I've been like, have a melody or something that comes out, and I just have to press the record button on my phone because I'm gonna lose it. I could like loop it for like 15, 45 minutes, but after that, it's gone if I don't record it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the interjection.
Oh no, it's all good. For me, melodies stick easy. The things that I do record my melodies though from time to time, but it's words for me. I forget them instantly right after I say them, which is pretty impressive. So yeah, I would have to have the record button on while I write. But that's a great tip. If you're writing the lyrics, you have your song already, and you're kind of improvising. Yeah, hit that record button and listen to yourself and the words you say. You can always re-record better later, but to get those words down, to get that emotion down, is important. And also delivery, like Joe was saying, is super important. I don't prize myself on my lyric writing. I, like Joe, when I listen to a song, my mind is elsewhere. It is deep into the constructions of the instrumentation, the melodies. Do they flow well? How are the transitions? What am I listening to, melodically and harmonized? And what's the beat like? Is this beat too repetitive? I'm constantly judging music. I judge it very harshly. And I like music, but I don't like it like most people like it. And I don't mean I like songs that most people don't like. Rather, what I'm saying is I digest it differently, and I am not obsessed with music. Some people listen to music all day long. I'm like, no, give me silence all day long. I love it. Love silence. So it's a very different, we're all very different when it comes to music and how we experience it. And that's my point there. And so basically, ultimately what I'm saying is it's all opinionated, and I'm sure your boyfriend is going to love not only, I think, right first and foremost, I should say, you're going to love first and foremost that you put time into it. That's going to be probably the best part for him. Even a second best part is that if it's a recording, he can play it again and again. That's always nice. Something we can do now. Back in the past, you can only serenade someone once, and you'd have to pull out the guitar again the next time, and try to recapture all the emotion. But yeah, I think that just the gesture in itself, that you spent time on it, that you want to give it to them as a gift, I think that that's precious and beautiful. They will have a great and deep appreciation for it, almost no matter what you say. But the words that you say are going to be really impactful. Rather, what I'm saying is the act of doing this is going to make the words automatically heightened. It's going to increase the value of the words, because the act that came before it, of you putting time into it for him, is going to make it just sing already. So yeah, I think that this is a great start. Keep on going with it. Is there anything wrong with it? No, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it. I don't think there's anything bad here. I really like you said, when you compliment the things that I hate. That line is awesome. That's a line that I've not heard ever written in a song, but it's something that I can understand, and I really enjoy that. And I can relate to that. And so I think that's beautiful. And so I would say, please keep that line in there. That's an awesome line. And then just the idea of like, you're imperfect. That's what makes you perfect. It's interesting because there's an aspect in our faith life that is, we try not to sin, but we recognize that God, we have something in Easter called "Oh Happy Fault." Basically, Adam and Eve sinned, the first sins, but then Jesus, because of that sin, came down and made something amazing and sacrificed himself for us so we could be saved. The story is very deep there. It's not just as shallow as that, but it's basically this idea of right can be made. Good things can come out of bad things, basically. Good, beautiful things that would never exist if it weren't for the bad things. And sometimes we relate to someone in their imperfections, or sometimes their imperfections actually help us to become better people, because we have to pick up where their flaws are if we're in a relationship with them. And that's a beautiful thing too. So basically, those are just different things that I'm thinking about when I hear it, and just some things you can maybe ponder yourself. But yeah, I like the lyrics, and I hope that you them and take it far. And if you ever want to share it with us, if you do a recording, feel free. Please, you can message us on our Discord. We used to have a website for this, but currently it's kind of going down because we're going to replace it eventually when we have the time. But we'll get there. And when we do, you can hopefully post it there. But until that moment, you can message us on Discord. I'm sure Joe would love to get a message. Yeah, he already said that. So, yeah, Princess will probably put those in the chat. But yeah, thank you so much, Anonymous. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? Yo, I'm sorry, Princess. I'm putting, you know what? I'll say them. Static P, Static-P number 4545, and Pleb. I don't know your number.
6992.
6992. There you go. Boom. But yeah.
Are we replacing the BSS forum? The answer is yes.
Yes, we are. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, Princess got it. Oh, and you can message Princess if you want as well. There you go.
7101.
Yeah, did you want to add anything to this?
No, I think you're awesome.
Okay. Yeah, we think you're awesome. We think you're lovely. We think that this is a wonderful thing. Princess wants to add a little bit of something, so we're gonna give it over to her and see what she has to say.
Well, I mean, I have a very different perspective because when I listen to songs, definitely I'm one of those people who comes with the lyrics first.
That's
And
most
I'm
people, I think.
also
It's most non-musicians.
Are you calling me not a musician?
Oh yeah, you are a musician. But I'm saying most people who are not musicians. She doesn't play an instrument.
Steve.
She sings though. But you sing.
Lyrics.
Singing is your main instrument, and that's why you pay attention to lyrics.
Steve listens to lyrics. His main thing is guitar. So it's
he listens to really? Wow.
Yeah. He sends me stuff and listens to the lyrics. I'll send him a song because of a killer bass part, and he'll be like, "Dude, the lyrics were so awesome. Did you hear those?" And I'm like,
"Really?
No,
okay." I didn't know this. Everyone I've ever met
hijacked you, Princess. I am so sorry.
Sorry, we're not on the screen anymore now. I'm sorry. But anyhow, I'm sorry for insulting you. I didn't mean it as an insult, and it wasn't mean to say you're not a singer because you are a singer. But I meant like someone who comes into music by playing an instrument, because that's how I came into music, was by playing an instrument. And everybody that I know, like my brother, everybody from that I worked in band with, like everybody is like,
I get it. Your first instrument, first thing that you learn well is what you focus on. For me, that was vocals, since I've been a very small child.
Yes, and just for the sake of argument, I know Princess is a musician. I've worked with her on a music project. I've produced her vocals.
True.
And they're lovely. And I hope to do more. So, yes. What's that, Princess?
That is the hope.
That is the hope. Oh, I thought you said there's always hope.
There's always hope.
Well, there is always hope. That's
like you can always hope, Joe.
There's always hope.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh.
Man, oh man.
I just do the music, so apparently I'm not a musician anymore. Okay, chat. I feel so loved over here.
You're great. Sorry.
Well, now I don't know how to start anymore.
Start at the very beginning.
Oh
a
man.
very good place to start. So for me in my music making processes, I tend to start with singing. Lyrics plus melody. Sometimes I borrow the melody from an already made song to make my lyrics on, but it really depends. In middle school, I had what I called the Princess Radio, because I constantly had songs going on in my head, and at any point I could tune into one and start singing it, or I could start singing it with words about just whatever's going on. You know, I kind of practiced the art of, okay, well, let's make lyrics. What rhymes well about just generically what's going on in this moment? That works out for me. I'm a decent lyricist at the very minimum. I'd like to believe. Now I don't feel so sure.
Well, I think you probably do great. I haven't heard any of your stuff. Do you have a
I'm trying
SoundCloud?
to think if I've heard of your
You
lyrics.
have heard of my stuff before. I'm pretty sure I
Oh
sent you
yeah,
something
yeah.
a
But were
very
they?
long time
Oh
ago
yeah,
that I
that's
made
right.
lyrics for,
That's true. You
specifically,
did.
that I
Yeah.
sang
Okay. I
in my
remember.
middle
I
school
remember.
concert
Yeah, they were
that nobody
good.
really
They were good.
cared for, because why would anyone care about a song they don't know that has random lyrics that they don't know that was aimed towards them? But, that's fine. Anyway, what I recommend is charting out what you wanna convey in the song. That's kind of the most important thing. And you've already reiterated that. You want this to be about how much you love him and want to be perfect for him. I think this is a great base. When I first read these lyrics, my mind instantly came up with a melody to sing it to. I tried to speak it in rhythm, but I don't know how well that, really goes over. But I already have a melody in mind that I could sing for all of these lyrics that I don't know if it sounds good, but I can see that. The lyrics already flow. I can feel that in the music, and I see that you kind of already have what seems to be a chorus of, um, "You aren't perfect, but that's what makes you perfect, even if I'm not the same. You think I'm so gorgeous that I'm so perfect. God, I wish I felt that way." Um, the I have small concerns about thinking about that impact. Now, I'm not gonna say your lyrics are bad, because 'cause they're not, and as I said, I could immediately follow them, so I think you have a great base for your lyrics. But I would also think a little bit about perspectively of your boyfriend receiving this, right? What is he gonna think of these lyrics? Is he gonna be like, "Oh, come on, you're not giving yourself enough credit," when he hears the "even if I'm not the same"? And, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to be dishonest with your lyrics. Never. Your lyrics is your art, right? And that's your medium. These are the words you want to say to him. And those always should be, you know, that is going to be on you totally, and there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with your lyrics. But again, it's kind of thinking about what impact you think you want to have and what impact you're trying to make. The other thing, if you are struggling with lyrics, my biggest resources are the online dictionary and the online thesaurus. And I
Mm.
start with the word. Sometimes it's as simple as sad. And then I see what kind of words spawn off of sad. And then, I mean, I guess what I'm doing is otherwise look it up. Thesaurus. Sad.
Stressed.
Sad comes up with. Do, do, do. Oh gosh, that's the dictionary. I don't want that. I want the thesaurus, please. Bitter, dismayal, heartbroken, melancholy, mournful, pessimistic, somber, sorrowful, sorry, unhappy, wistful. It goes on and on. But you can really look into what kind of sad are you going for instance. You know, I was heartbroken, so dismayed by what you say. Lyrics.
Mhm.
There we go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's how I make them.
Mm.
But you could, of course, do that with many other words than that. That's just one of the most simplest words I could think of that people are, if you ever have trouble with writing and having nice stuff to it, it's like, I am sad. I feel bad. It's totally easy to get stuck into that, and you're not really sure where you're going. So that's just the way that I have found helps me to get forward into getting new words, getting different words, things that can um, rhyme, because I like to rhyme, but you don't have to rhyme. Songs do not have to rhyme. So don't feel like you have to have that or get caught up in that. You can have a beautiful song that doesn't need to have a bunch of rhyming in it. Again, it's about the flow. And from what I've heard, you've done a really good job of having that go through. So, um, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. I mean, I could sing what I've come up with, but I also don't want to take away from your own song creativity. Anonymous, because, that's, it's your song, and I don't wanna just influence what you're going to make, because it really should come from you and be what you wanna say and the way you want to express it. Um, but anyways, I guess that's what I'll add.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Princess. And that was perfect. I think everything you said does add a lot, especially from someone who actually can come with lyrics up on the spot. I can sometimes, but they're not very good. I don't think they're very good. And Princess, I apologize. I do remember you sending me at least 3 songs, if not way more, of you singing several years ago. Several years ago, you sent me many. So I apologize for not remembering at the time, but I do remember. I do remember now. And yes, you are good with lyrics and you're very good with singing and words. So good job. I apologize. All right. Please forgive me and my poor memory.
I forgive you.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks. I love your cute thanks. It's thanks.
Thanks. Thanks. All right.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Just laying on it. Cool. Joe, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I think they're awesome. Anonymous, do it.
Yeah. Way to go, Anonymous. Keep it
working.
up.
Keep working. Love what you have so far. Keep
Work
going.
it. Yeah. For sure. Awesome.
And DM me if you got any other questions, or if you got any questions on production or music side of things, whatever, anything.
And if you got questions on lyrics, ask Princess, because she's gonna answer. She's gonna have a response. If you ask me about lyrics, I'm gonna be like, what's the melody? Does it match?
And if you need help crafting that too, I mean, it really. The other thing you can look at is other songs that you enjoy the melody of, and try to take something off of that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. Well, thank you so much, Anonymous. We hope that your boyfriend deeply appreciates and loves it. I'm sure they will, just for the fact that you're putting time and effort into it. And yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So cool. Fantastic.
Fantastics.
Fantastics.
It's fantastics, guys.
These guys.
Guys, we got some new topic over here.
Wow, are we on our?
We got some new topic.
What topic are we on? Fourth?
This is topic number 4 of tonight.
Dang.
Tonight, we have 4 topics for you.
Thanks.
Princess is muted and she's saying something, and it's very cool to watch, but I'm not hearing anything.
We are not lip readers.
I wasn't trying to inform the whole audience, but that's fine. We might even get to 5.
Oh, wow! Don't
if
set
you guys
expectations.
want to start getting to the topics.
Oh, snap!
Wow, being leaned into here.
Snap!
I feel
It's all good. It's all
feel all my freedoms being taken away. No.
Very proud. Chad, you should clap for them. They've done such a good job.
You're such a good job.
Seriously.
You're a good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Your face is a good job.
So that's a compliment of one that I'm not sure I want to hear.
Sorry.
Your face is a good job.
I'm in a spot, guys.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So this one is another anonymous, guys. That's awesome. This one is titled Missing Music Videos. Missing music videos. We might actually get to 5 with how this topic looks. So, Princess, whenever you're ready, the topic is on screen for you. And Chad, if you'd like to read along, feel free to do so.
Urgent. These are not my pants. These are my pants. Double thick.
Yes.
What happened to Mega Ego and many other awesome videos? Will we ever see them again? I've been looking for somewhere to watch Mega Ego since December 2018. I want to see Dr. Svedman again.
Oh man, me
From
too.
Free Anonymous Crackers.
From whom?
Sorry, Free Anonymous Cheese Crackers.
Oh,
Three Anonymous
cheese crackers.
cheese crackers.
Wow.
Mm.
That's fantastic. Wow. Okay. So
Where are these videos? We have them.
we have them. They're unlisted. Because they're simply on the Don't Worry Wednesday channel. I'm gonna use that as my excuse real quick because the truth is they're stinking cringy. And I was like, they're so cringy, I can't bear to have them seen by other people, so I discontinued them. Obviously, you can still, I believe you can still see Dr. Svedman on the Tetsuken Z channel, which is where Fantastiques comes from. He's not Russian, but he's Swedish.
Something.
Yeah, actually, I was complimented on my. He's a sweetie. I've never heard I've never, that I can remember in my life, ever heard a Swedish person talk, other than like maybe the Swedish chef who's from the Muppets who doesn't talk any language. And then someone who was actually from Sweden was like talking to me in person, well, not in person, but like on Discord, and they're like, your accent was actually legit. Your accent sounded Swedish. And I was like, no way. I don't know how I knew. But anyways, if you want to go check that one out, but Dr. Svedman is in Mega Ego, and maybe you can try to convince me to.
I don't think they're on Tetsuken Z, or at least not listed.
No, not Mega Ego, but the corn chip on a stick and all that should be. Is it Psycho Scat Boxer? Is that on?
Okay, yeah, that one is. Okay.
Psycho Scat Boxer. Yeah, Psycho Scat Boxer is I think the origination of Dr. Svedman. Man, that's an old video. Get a little bit wild in that one. A little bit wily, a little bit cringe.
Yep. I was gonna say, you can ask for Ryan's permission. You can DM me. I will just send you the videos.
There you go. Yeah, I think they're just unlisted, not privated, right? So.
I think so. But if they're on Tetsuken Z, I don't have access to them.
They're not. They're on the Don't Worry Wednesday channel. This channel that we're on right now.
Okay, they're just unlisted. So I could just download them and then stick them on my computer, and then I could send them to whoever wants them.
Okay.
I'll put them on a Google Drive and spam it to everybody.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that.
Okay.
Ryan, I'm not going to do that to you.
No, I wasn't worried about that. I was contemplating doing something. I'm going to do it. All right, guys. For the next week, till next Don't Worry Wednesday, I'm going to unlist them. And then you guys
You're going to list them, you mean?
I'm going to list them from unlisted.
So you're going to unlist them.
I'm going to unlist them. I'm going to relist them.
Okay.
So you guys cringe to your heart's content. And don't be mad at me if for some reason you find yourself wanting to unsubscribe. Because that's why I took them down. I was like, these are so cringy, people will unsubscribe. Like, they will legitimately just be like, nah, I'm out.
And we'll see if you remember next week.
Yeah, we'll see if I remember to actually re-unlist them next week. Oops, I just switched. Oh, no. Okay. So anyways.
Did the stream freeze when you started doing that?
Oh gosh, it probably did. There. I'll do it later. I'll do it after the show. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
Are we unfrozen now?
Yeah, we're unfrozen.
It looks
now.
unfrozen to me.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, the visuals were frozen, but you could still hear us? Was that it?
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
All right.
Okay. Yep. Sorry about that, guys.
Because I can see the video over there, but I have it muted because otherwise there'd be a little bit of a delay in our conversation and it'd bother me.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be obnoxious to watch. Okay, so there you go. Anonymous, fine. You guys go looking it up.
They're in this channel.
They're on this channel. they're not that cringy. It's just some of them are really cringy, and they lead into each other because they were like a series. And some of them are good, and some of them are really bad. So, well, we're gonna do it. Whatever, we're gonna do it. I'm sorry. It's gonna take
Part
a
of it
long
is
time.
Ryan's his own harshest critic on his music.
Not my music, on my performance of everything. The music is okay. Music isn't that great, but it's really the everything else. It's the everything
Whatever,
else.
Ryan.
You keep saying that to yourself, Ryan.
You
keep saying
know,
that,
of
buddy.
all people, that you're beautiful
Oh,
and that your productions are amazing. Even the cringiest of cringy of your productions are still beautiful.
okay. Well,
You know this.
there you go, guys. You've heard it here first. Just kidding, that's not true. Thinking it. You already heard it in your head before Joe said it. So okay, Mega Ego, Pokemon, How to Own a Wrench, Megamind Part 1 and Megamind Part 2 are now public.
Oh, and Troll Me apparently would like to be
Troll Me was
made
already
public again.
always public. Right? I wouldn't have. Troll Me's public.
Is it?
Yeah, oh my gosh, Watch Us Change the World. That one's super. Well, it's public. Publish. All right.
Oh, you were just saying that it's good, but it was always public. Okay, gotcha.
All right, guys.
Yeah, because we had classic BSS playlist or something.
When you're done cringing, you can send me. Gosh, I will cringe so hard. You can send me a message on my Discord to rub it in. Yay, new old content to watch. Thank you. No, sigh.
Oh my.
Great. I want to die inside.
No,
okay.
you're not.
The best is still the origami giraffe, dude.
Origami giraffe is never
giraffe.
been taken down. That one's awesome.
Yep.
That one's awesome.
Yep.
That one's sick.
Yep.
That one's legit.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. Enjoy, everybody, including Anonymous. I'll leave it up for a week and hopefully someone reminds me to take it down. Because if that doesn't happen, I'll probably forget. And you guys will be sneaky and you'll remember not telling me probably.
Probably.
Depends. I might be kind.
Oh, thanks.
Seriously?
Seriously, you're gonna be kind to him.
I'm a well-known party pooper. I'm a well-known party pooper.
Thanks for pooping on the party.
That's what I was about to say. Then I was like, don't say that, Ryan. Don't change those words around in order. It's suddenly not the same. Party pooper of all words. No.
Yeah.
Don't poop on my
party, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, we went off the rails.
Okay. Anyways,
there's in the chat's already like, nobody remind him.
Yeah. See.
Yep.
Yeah. No one remind him. Don't remind him. Everyone in the video.
Keep the cringy stuff up.
People said the same thing about the I don't remember. Anyway, you know the channel in Discord. I don't want to say it wrong. I mean, I could go look. That you still also haven't deleted, though. You said you were going to delete that after
a week. Yeah, the Not for Safe Work channel.
Yes.
Yeah, I have thought about it like many times. Yep. And I'm like, nah, I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up. And then I'll think about it and I'll be like, I should take it down. Everyone's thinking I'll never take it down. I was going to take it down a week after, and then I was like, nah, I'll leave it up. And then 2 weeks after, I was going to take it down, and I was like, nah, Senna said I probably wouldn't, so I'm just going to listen to her and not do it.
And then I think at some point I messaged you like, hey, just a reminder about that channel thing. If you were going to, not saying you have to or anything, but you know.
I think people like the not for safe work channel.
We need a link to the Static P Friends server in the chat, I think.
Okay.
Yes, please.
It's easily remedied.
Yeah. Nicholas, I didn't know you weren't already in there. Well, here we go. True, Fredneck. It is on my channel, but there you have it. There's the link. Now you can join us Daddy P friend. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone else want to talk on this topic? Obviously, I talked the whole time on it, but that's okay. Yeah. Well, we
Nope.
shared.
You're the one
we
with
shared
the
it.
answers.
And we answered it like
Yeah.
definitively because they're back up.
Yeah. We shared the answer. We all talked on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, do we have another topic then? Thank you, Anana Mouse.
Well, we have
Cheese
our
crackers.
option between we could either do one more of Rin's to get last of Hatsu so that Hatsu can get sleep instead of being here because I think Hatsu has school. But
They're not going to sleep
yeah,
until probably done. We're not gonna leave because we're doing theirs. They're gonna stay. We know.
Well, I'm just saying that they wouldn't have to be here because they wouldn't have a topic on the queue.
If we don't do theirs, then they'll maybe go to bed before.
They have the option.
Yeah.
But, they'll do what they do.
What
We're
else
not
do we
them.
have?
Otherwise, we have freestyle advice from Saule that we could do since I believe Saule is still in the chat.
Yep.
Otherwise, we have one more anonymous one, but it's possibly a longer one, so.
Okay. Yeah, that last one is titled Courage to Not Retreat, so that would be a deeper topic.
Yes.
We satisfied our quota of doing one deep topic today at least. The other ones have been a lot more playful. It's good.
Yeah. So we don't need to do that one this week. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we got like 22 minutes.
Let's do it.
What do? We flip a coin?
Yeah. Flip a coin for us.
Executive's decision is Rin's / Hatsu's.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, well, executive.
No coin flipping needed.
Executive can have their way because
it was an option if you guys had a preference. If not,
nope, no preference. All right. Well then, let's do it. This topic.
Sally's is great for another day too.
Oh, is it? Okay, perfect. Well, here is the topic. It's on the screen. It is from Hatsu. It is titled "To Improve Improv." Is that accurate? Do I have the right one?
To improve improv.
Okay, cool.
Yes. How does someone become good at improvisation? Or improvisation, to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, perfect. Improvisation.
Good question.
Improvisation. Yeah, improvisation. Great question. I am not the best, but I would say I'm decent. I got my start of improvisation when I was like 8, playing around on the piano. Really, for me, I didn't have a music teacher. I didn't have anyone teaching me anything, so improvisation was all I had. And so I can improvise on piano pretty decently, and my lyrical improvisation is not the worst I've heard. And I've spent less time with that. So, I mean, right off the bat, I would say practicing improvisation. But it's different than practicing an instrument. You're not going to learn how to be a good improv artist by practicing your instrument unless you're practicing improv. I know this because my brother is an incredible clarinetist. What is that the right word? Clarinetist? They don't have to change the way the clarinet is pronounced, like in flautist.
Clarinetist.
Okay, good. Phenomenal clarinetist. Or at least he was back in high school. He hasn't played for a good many years, but he wants to get back into it, and I'm excited for him to do so. But he was incredible at sight reading. Why? Because he would just pick up a sheet of music and try to play it. And then he'd put it away and find another sheet of something else and try to play that. And he got really good at it. So good that he went to a solo and ensemble sort of competition type of thing. And he improvised, or not improvised, he sight read a sheet of music. And the judges, when he got done playing it, looked at him and said, "So you had this piece like last year?" And he said, "No." He said, "Okay, you've done this piece a couple years ago then, yeah?" He said, "No, I've never seen this piece in my life." And they're like, "No. There's no way you've not played this." And he's like, "I've never seen this. I did not recognize it. You gave me like a minute to look over it, and I just played it how I thought it should be played, with the emotions that it sounded like it should be played with." And they were just floored. And these are like college judges, floored by my brother, because he spent most of his time just sight reading and doing scales and learning his clarinet that way. But I learned saxophone improvised. And so I got really good at improvising. So really, I would say right off the bat, it's what you practice. It's what you're going to get good at. But anyways, I've talked for longer than I was supposed to. Joe, what do you have to say about the topic?
Good question. I'm going to agree with you that yes, you should practice improvisation if you want to get better at improvisation. I would also say from the standpoint of, okay, you want to improve just how you are at improvisation, or you want to improve the quality of your improvisation. If what you're looking for is better quality of musicianship, of, your abilities, of the different things you bring to the table in improv, then practice fundamentals,
That's
scale,
smart.
rudiments, how you play your instrument. Practice the fundamentals, how you hold your instrument, how, like if it's a held instrument, right? How all these fundamentals that go into place, right? If you practice fundamentals, then you will naturally know where to go, right? But if all you do is practice scales and fundamentals, you can end up with a very robotic and rigid form of playing. Okay? So you also need to do what Ryan was saying and practice improv. Practice feeling where it's going. And it can really be awesome if you're with a group of people. I remember when I first got really into jamming with other people. With a jam session is just a big long improv. And we would just hit record and we would just jam for a while. We do that. And Steve and I will do that, and out of one jam session, we will have the beginnings of like 4 different songs, and then we'll take those things that we've improved through our jam session, and then we'll be like, "Oh, that will be a great chorus for a song, and so let's build a song around that little thing that we did," right? And then we do the same thing with a lot of other things. And it's really fun. But I remember when I first started doing a lot of jam sessions and improv, it was kind of my early in my college career, and I was hanging out with some friends, and I had a band that I was in, and I was moving. That band was kind of starting to go away, and I was kind of gravitating towards this new group of people, and the new group of people, um man, I'll tell you, I ended up finding some people that were some of the greatest at their instrument that I've ever had the privilege of playing with. So like I was I was a good rhythm guitarist. My job was rhythm guitar and vocals in this band. And I know a lot of different chords. I know how to play different chords a lot of different ways on guitar. I know how to, like in the different registers all over the place and do weird fingering patterns for different stuff. And like I have a way about doing that. I understand chord structures on the guitar. When it comes to melodies, I'm not at all a lead guitarist. Like I have a really hard time. Like I would have a very hard time playing a guitar solo that was anything near professional level, at least in my opinion. But I ended up playing. There was me on rhythm guitar, and then another guy who was just incredible at lead guitar and jamming in lead guitar, improv in lead guitar. And you know what we would do? Like we all lived together, 3 of us, me, the drummer, and the lead guitarist. We lived together in the same house. And our lead guitarist, like, basically, we'd sit there and, like, it was, after we were done with classes, done with work, whatever, and then we'd practice for a while, and then we'd sit down, maybe put on a movie or be hanging out or whatever, and he'd just have his guitar unplugged, and he'd be playing scales while watching a movie. He'd just be playing scales, not looking at his hand, not paying attention. He'd just be playing these scales, practicing scales the whole time, you know, and it was just that fundamental thing. And you get those fundamentals down to the point where you don't have to think about it anymore.
Mm.
You trust yourself to do those things. And what happens is then you can let yourself go into the music. And you can feel, okay, listen to the other people you're playing with or whatever. I mean, remember that's how it was when we were jamming. We would listen to each other and start playing off each other. You know, somebody would do something and like then we'd just all kind of like follow along and join in, and you know, it was a really fluid thing. It was great. But yeah, I would say those two things. Like what Ryan was saying, practice improv. Practice doing improvisation. Practice just playing some stuff that, hey, maybe doesn't make any sense. Or singing or whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's vocal or instrumental or whatever. But then I would also say practice fundamentals. Scales, rudiments, you know, and then control of your instrument. Practice all those things so well so you become so solid you can trust yourself to handle all the fundamentals. And then when you have that in your arsenal, your improv will improve dramatically because you'll have so much more musicianship in your improvisation because you have those fundamentals. It's boring. It's boring to do scales. It's boring to do rudiments. It's boring to do all these things, right? And so as a drummer, what I would do, I'd sit down, put on a movie, and I'd have my practice pad, or I'd just have a pair of drumsticks and bang on my knee or whatever, right? And just like, just practice, just mindlessly. So I'm not even thinking about it, but my hands are doing it, and I'd just be playing. And then I'd start doing double stroke, triple, you know, just all this, you know, all those little things can go into helping your improv. So anyway, hopefully that's helpful. I'm turning it back to Ryan.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's absolutely spot on. The rudimentaries, like the understanding of what notes sound good with other notes, to the point where you don't even have to think about it. It's all subconscious. It just comes to you immediately without even, you don't have to calculate anything. It's just there for you already, automatically. That is huge. I think that is one of the key things that makes someone good. I mean, at improv, or really any music, but especially improv, because you're just gonna know what's gonna sound good. I think that, okay, so when I was in jazz band, I've said this before, but jazz band was my favorite. I went to high school and we had jazz band, and it was just my favorite. It was a good time all the time. Because, I mean, one of the main reasons, because we had improvisation, we got to improv during the songs, and I would raise my hand for every single one. I'd be like, pick me. Even at many points, the teacher was like, Ryan, you already have 7 of them, give them to someone else. And it's like, I wasn't picking, but no one else wanted one. No one else felt confident. But I was always really excited to do them. And I was confident in doing them. So confidence really goes a long way in them, because if you have confidence, you're going to express what you're trying to express when you improvise. If you don't have confidence, it's going to be very hard to express anything at all. That goes for singing too, right? If you're singing something and you don't have confidence, your ability to express yourself goes right out the window. But with a little bit of confidence, other than the only thing you express is in confidence, really. But if you're singing and you have confidence in your singing, and you have confidence in your ability to deliver a message, or to deliver an emotion, to deliver a feeling, or to deliver a scenario or an aura, whatever, you're going to nail it more often than not. And that comes through experience, really. That comes through putting yourself out there in public and doing those things. One of the things that I did was on the spur of a moment, in band. I told this story recently too, but in band, during marching band season, we all had to get dressed up in our marching band uniforms, and during concerts, we all had to get dressed up in our concert uniforms. And the men would go into the men's room, and the women would go to the women's room. So I was going to the men's room with the men to change my clothes. I get changed, or I wouldn't. I'd get changed like super late, last, whatever, because I could do it quick. It didn't matter. But I would we changed in the choir room. And so I would go to the piano, I'd sit behind the piano and just commentate, improvise what people were doing in the room, and just comment on things while playing the piano. And it was always in song form. I would sing it. And this became like a regular thing that I would do during our performance nights. Would be, while everyone's changing, comment on them changing. And it was fun. It was a fun time. And it was just a spur of the moment thing that I did. And it was a confidence boost for me, because I did it, and regardless of how good it was successful, and that people were laughing. People just thought it was interesting or unique. And the fact that I was able to do it was just like, man, I'm awesome. I could do that. Like, that was empowering. That felt good to be able to get out there and do what would normally be very scary, but I kind of just went into it, and it turned out great. I worked up to that moment, I think, by playing piano a few times publicly in the band room, just before band practice, and people would hear me and come over and listen a little bit while I played. And I would get embarrassed and stop from time to time, but to work myself up in public really helped my confidence in improvising, especially in public. And I think that matters a lot, because if you get really good at improvisation, but you can't be in person with people, then your improvisation, it's muddled, it's sullied by your inconfidence when you get around people. So spend some time working up that energy, and recognize that improvisation is something that we're always doing constantly anyways. Whenever we hold a conversation, whenever I'm speaking in Don't Worry Wednesday, all of it's improvised. We don't have a script that we're reading off of. We're just going from moment to moment, putting our input out there. And the word choices we choose are often our own set of word choices, right? You talk to certain people, they use certain words a lot. I know I use certain words, especially when I'm writing lyrics. I use the word realize. I'd recognize that I use realize and recognize a lot, and I have to try to stay away from those, because I'll put them in like all my songs if I don't. And so basically what I mean by that is that's trained. That's subconscious trained word choice. But with music, you can have subconscious trained melody, subconscious trained key signature, subconscious trained anything. And the more you do, the wider you open up your repertoire by doing what Joe was saying, by focusing on the fundamentals. The more you do that, the bigger your repertoire gets. The bigger your word choice gets, the bigger your musical understanding gets, the bigger your effects get, right? If you're playing an instrument, learning vibrato is one thing. Learning how to hum and use your instrument at the same time is another. Doing a jazz solo, randomly pulling that out of the sax, just makes people go, what just happened to my ears? That was amazing. Because in jazz band, you can get away with those things. And you can just be playing a nice solo and just being like, all right, now this one note, I'm going to hum while I play it. And it's just going to make this weird growl sound. And then I'm going to continue with the solo as if, that was a part of it, but it was only one part, And to be able to have that fluidness is amazing. So you're going to want to be able to practice all of the different emotions you can put through to your instrument, whether you're singing or you're doing an instrument or whatever it is. But in order to do those, you have to do what Joe said. You have to spend so much time with your instrument, and practicing improvisation, but practicing the rudiments, the fundamentals, the the basics over and over, and then moving on and progressing from there to higher level stuff, and then incorporating all of that. I like to, every time I learn something, learn a new vocal technique, or whatever, I like to focus in on it and use it a bunch in improvisation, because that allows me to train that effect into my vocal cords, and also then becomes a way that I can express it when I record later, just whenever I need to, on the spot. And that is just really important for me in my improvisation. So as you journey along, just recognize it's a journey, and you're learning one thing after another and incorporating it into the process. And a lot of it is just creating a subconscious, I don't know what the word is, like a subconscious foundation that you can tap into at any moment, know exactly what notes to hit for that scale, know exactly what notes are going to sound good, know exactly what note to play next, or how to finger that note, or how to get to that note in your pitch or whatever, without even thinking about it. It just happens because you're so fluent in it. And that's huge. But anyhow, that's what I got. Joe, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah.
Please do.
Remember to have fun.
Yeah. Be passionate.
As you're doing this, remember to have a good time. Nicholas has some stuff in the chat about learning stuff and learning all the basics, and then trying to compose, and then having a lot of trouble composing, and not being able to come up with anything. And I can totally understand that. One of the things that I always had to do was play music that I liked, like play along with it. I would listen to it and then I'd just play along with it. I wouldn't necessarily even play the right parts. There's a band that Ryan knows pretty well called the Spin Doctors.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're a lot of fun. And I like to drum along with the Spin Doctors because the songs, I don't usually play exactly what the drummer plays when I play drums along with the Spin Doctors. I just play a beat that goes with the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I try and listen in, because he's a really good drummer. And you don't notice unless you really listen in and try and play the things he's playing, that you're like, wow, this guy is very, very coordinated. So it has two things. It has the fun element where I can just have fun and play and be myself and play my own beat, contribute what I have to bring to the table. Or I can treat it as a learning experience and dig into what he played and then try and copy that. So then it enhances my skill as I move forward, right? So have fun. Listen to music that's fun, play along with music that's fun, spend time working on the basics. But if you spend too much time just there, you can burn yourself out if you aren't having fun.
So true.
So have fun. I remember there was this really old, there was an old TV series when I was a kid, I think. It was like some Indiana Jones they made a TV series based off of Indiana Jones or something when I was a kid. And so and I remember watching it, and I remember, so the scenario in this particular episode was he was going to be a jazz musician. He wanted to be a jazz saxophone player, right? And so he got into this jazz club, and this was back when jazz was like a big thing, and whatever. And they invited him to come out and play, and they kind of got laughed off the stage the first time, because he could improvise. He could play lots of different notes, right? But he didn't have the feel. He didn't have the texture in his playing, and he was playing a soprano sax, I think, right?
Ooh.
And he didn't have the emotion in with it. It was just the notes, right? And you could play a lot of notes, but it wasn't. It didn't have the feeling. And so then what the guy told him to do, what the professional told him to do, is like, go play this song over and over and over again and play nothing else but this song. And it was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, right? And he just kept playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star over and over and over and over and over again. And you would think you would get bored with it, but what happened was, as he played those notes so much and played that song so much, he automatically started to naturally put feeling into it. And it comes back to being able to trust yourself to play the right notes. You're not thinking about the notes anymore. You're just thinking about what you're conveying in the song, the emotion that you're putting forth through your instrument or through your singing. And that's why it's important to do the fundamentals. That's why also like repetition over and over and over and over and over again. If you practice one thing over and over and over and over again, you're going to get to the point where you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about where your fingers are going to go, where your notes are going to go, anything like that. And all that's left for you to put into that is the emotion. And then that opens up a whole world of texture that, I mean, the sky's the limit, because you never play the same song twice, or you never play a song the same way twice. That's what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. And all that stuff that we've encouraged you to do to improve, have fun. Have fun and let yourself go into it. Let yourself feel it. Let your emotions come out. And when you can trust yourself with the fundamentals, that emotion, that emotional side of music becomes so much more beautiful. It's incredible. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. That was awesome. That's fantastic. I recognize that it was submitted by I think it was Hotsu, but or Rin rather. But it says Starbucks Turtle Vampire. So if you're curious about how to improvise words, really that's just practice too. It's the same exact stuff that Joe and I have been talking about with when you play an instrument. It's the same exact thing with words. You just have to spend time practicing coming up with words. I am not that great. I have this hilarious recording. I don't remember who I shared it with. I definitely shared it with Neon Sai, and it's me freestyling and falling apart while freestyle. It's hilarious. I'm thinking of posting it just because it's so funny. At least I think it's hilarious. It's super cringy though. So anyhow, I might post it. It'll be funny. But anyhow, I don't freestyle. So I'm not that great at it. If I freestyled more, if I improvised more, I would be. You can go and see like people who freestyle, like rap or freestyle, make up lyrics on the spot. I'm not terrible at lyrics because there's a melody with it, and it makes it easier for me. And it's usually slower pace, so I have time to contemplate my next word a little bit. But like rapping and coming up with words real fast, jeez, that's hard. But anyhow, it's all about practice, and it can be done. So I dare you to freestyle right now. Nah, I'm good. I got no beat. Don't anyone lay one down, please. I see someone writing in the chat. That's Powerpuff Girls, so that's copyright. You can't do that one.
Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo. I love Powerpuff Girls beat. I remember first time hearing that, I'm like, dang, what is this beat called? Because that's like the only, for me, I'm not into Powerpuff Girls, but the whole redeeming aspect is the opening theme drum beat, drum line. If you guys know what I'm talking about, it's sick. It's unfortunately synthesized. I'd like to hear a real drummer do it. It'd be awesome.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls OP is OP.
Maybe not.
That's great. Powerpuff Girls, I don't have anything against them, by the way. It's just that I didn't really watch the show. But I remember the opening theme was sick. It's tight.
I just remember Mojo Jojo.
Oh, you just remember Mojo Jojo. Mojo Jojo.
That, and you know, one of my clients, one of the people in one of my clients' office, she would call me that. She'd be like, Mojo Jojo.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Fair enough. Well, we've reached the end of our show. We're 6 minutes past, which is totally okay. We hope that you've had a wonderful time. I know that we have. This has been a good one. It's okay that you fell asleep. And if you did, wake up. Make up. You wanted to. Why'd you put the keys on the table? I don't know this song. I don't think you trust in I self-righteous. Anyways,
dang, now you're gonna make me want to listen to System of a Down, man.
System of a Down, man. System of
Dangerous.
a Down. Are they the ones that did? No. Are they the ones that did? Oh.
No.
Okay, who is that? What band is that?
No, that was somebody else.
Okay, it's a band similar to them, but it's not them.
That's not at all.
Not
similar.
Not them. No. Same band name. In my head, apparently.
Drowning Pool. Thank you.
Oh,
yes,
wow.
I knew I would kick myself as soon as I saw it.
Nice.
But yes, Drowning Pool. That's
if
right.
Jeff was here, you would have got it too.
Yep, Jeff would have got it.
Yeah. Thanks, Nansai. You're awesome. Yeah. I guess they're not the same band. I don't know why my brain went to that one. But anyhow, thank you guys so much for joining us today on this Don't Worry Wednesday. It has been wonderful to be with you guys and share this experience. We hope to see you next Wednesday. And we very much love you guys and just appreciate you guys so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. Nope. Okay, we're good. Sorry? What?
Are we off?
No, we're good.
Oh,
I just was stopping myself from reminding people that the videos are now live. That were on. Yeah, so
you're good.
I didn't want to say. Yeah, don't worry about it.
And your face is live.
Yeah, that's. Oh no, everyone heard me say that. Enjoy the cringe. Yes, thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Love you guys.
This is my classic awkward outro.
We're gonna wave.
All right.
I should switch hands.
Yeah, Princess is waving too. You guys want Princess Cam to see her wave? Here you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a perfect screen to end on. Thank you guys. We love you. Bye-bye.
Love you guys.